Hey guys, it's Julia, and today I'm going to be talking about my favorite books I've read because of Booktube. Today I'm going to be talking about my favorite books that I've read because I saw them on Booktube. There are so many books that I love. I'm going to talk about some of the ones that have really stuck with me or have just been like my favorite books of all time. There is one that I'm not going to talk about just because I've talked about it so much, and that is Illuminae, but there I talked about it. Yeah, so I'm going to get right into this video. The first series that I read because of Booktube is the Three Dark Crowns series. This is actually Two Dark Reigns because I loaned out my other two, the first book and the second book, which are Three Dark Crowns and One Dark Throne. And these books are just so amazing. The writer has such a creative mind. Like, I seriously cannot get over how awesome her ideas are for stories. Like, I read this book and I'm like, where does she get the ideas for this book? Like, how did she write this book? How did this come into her mind? It blows my mind. It seriously blows my mind. But I love this series, and it was kind of like blown up all over Booktube when it first came out, and I was so excited to get my hands on it, read it, and was not disappointed at all. The next book that I read is one that I never would have read if it wasn't for Booktube. I actually read this for the Booktube book club way back when it first came out, and I wasn't planning on reading it, but then it got picked as our book, so then I had to read it, and I was so happy that I did, and that was When Diplomat Rishi. This book was one of my favorites. I loved the love aspect in it. I loved the coming of age story in it. It was just really a special book, and I really enjoyed every part of it. There were a few things that I didn't like, but for the most part I loved it. I think I gave it like a 4.5 star rating out of 5, but it was a really awesome book, and if you haven't read it, pick it up because this book was such a sweet coming of age story that I adored. Next is one that is not going to come as a surprise to anybody who has watched my channel before, and that is the Stagger series, which is actually a graphic novel. Now, before I started Booktube and before I saw this, I actually wasn't interested in graphic novels at all. And the reason why I actually picked this up was because I'm a breastfeeding advocate. Like, I'm very passionate about breastfeeding, and I breastfed all my kids, and I strongly believe that if it's the right choice for you, that you should do it. It has really great health benefits. But anyway, besides that, the main cover of this actually is the mom, right there, you can see it. She's breastfeeding her baby on the cover. So immediately I was like, what is this? What is this graphic novel? This is amazing. So I picked it up, and the story, the graphics in this graphic novel are just stunning. Like, this is one of my favorite series of all time, and I read it because Booktube, and specifically I believe it was Claire over at Claire Reads Books who was talking about it, and then I had to pick it up. There was one other person talking about it, and I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but if you haven't read this and you're into graphic novels, definitely pick this up. If you're not into graphic novels, then pick this up. I do want to say, though, that this is an adult graphic novel. There is mature content in this that if you are too young, don't pick it up or have your parents approve it first. I definitely want to let my kids look at it. I've had to tackle my kids down and take it from them because they try to look at it simply because I told them they can't. The next series that I read because of Booktube was the Throne of Glass series. And I had seen the book, the first book, in the bookstore and stuff before I started Booktube, and never really felt drawn to it. I even picked up the back and read it and didn't really feel like I was that drawn to it. I bought it after I started Booktube and saw everybody was reading it, and still didn't pick it up for months. I think I was on Booktube for 5 months before I actually picked it up. I owned it for 5 months before I picked it up. And then when I did, I was just like, oh my god, why? Why haven't I read this yet? Why? And I've just slowly been trekking my way through the series since. I hate reading books where they're not, like, the whole series isn't out yet. So I've been trying to go as slow as possible to where I can still remember what's going on, but not feel like I'm like gonna die waiting for the next book. So I'm trying to wait till the last book comes out, which comes out in a few days, and I did pre-order it, the special edition Books A Million one. So I'm super excited about that, and the series is incredible. I adore this series 100%. I've never read one that I gave less than a 4-star rating to. So thank you, Booktube, for introducing me to Sarah J. Maas as a whole. The last book I'm going to talk about is another one that I just wasn't interested in reading at all. The cover is stunning, and obviously I was like, oh, this book is really stunning, the cover is beautiful, but I thought like it was about something that I wouldn't really care to read about, and that was Warcross. I didn't really think that I would be into the video game-esque kind of story, but I don't know why I ended up reading it besides the fact that there was so much hype around it, but I finally picked it up and was like, this book is awesome. And I actually haven't read the new one yet, but I own it. I have it. It's right here, and I cannot wait to read the second one. This book was so fun, and the characters were so bright, and I loved everything about this book, and I still cannot get over this cover. It's so simple, but it's so beautiful, so beautiful. Anyway, so that is really it for this video. I would love to hear books that you have read because of Booktube, and yeah, if you like this video, please like and subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.